The latest news, updates, and more from the world of health and medicine. This is Medical Minutes, brought to you by Community Health Network.
Heart disease is the leading cause of death worldwide, and stroke is right behind it as the second. The American Heart Association and the American Stroke Association are on a mission to change that. Joining us this morning, we have WISH TV medical expert Dr. Janel Gordon, who has been nominated as an American Heart Association Leader of Impact. Congratulations to you, Dr. J. Explain to us what that is.
Sure. So the American Heart Association Leaders of Impact is a 7-week campaign that gets held nationally. Local leaders are hand-selected to be almost like advocates and awareness leaders. So we are raising funds to save lives as it relates to cardiovascular disease, and that includes heart attacks, cardiac arrest, and stroke. So we want to make sure we're saving hearts and we're saving brains.
Now, we talk a lot, so I know this is something that is really personal to you. If you don't mind explaining to the viewers at home why that is the case.
Sure. So like many Americans, I have many family members who have been affected. My father actually passed away my sophomore year of high school, Jeremy, after having cardiac arrest. He did have an underlying history of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and diabetes. Again, not uncommon for a lot of individuals who we see even in my own practice. My mother actually also had a stroke just 3 years ago, 6 weeks after I started a new job. But thankfully, I was placed nearby, and all of my sisters, we were hands on deck. My mother has a new normal now that she has to live because she has weakness on her right side as a result of the stroke, and oftentimes she's ambulating with a walker. My mother also has a history of diabetes and high blood pressure. You would think it would stop there, but my maternal grandmother also has a history of cardiovascular disease, Jeremy, and had a heart attack in her 40s. And then I actually lost my uncle about 6 to 8 weeks into my intern year of family medicine residency after he had a heart attack. He also had a history of high blood pressure. So those of you watching and even my colleagues here may think, well, this isn't uncommon. You know, my family history is quite similar as well. But we also know that individuals from Black and brown communities are at increased risk of having cardiovascular disease, and not just cardiovascular disease, but similar to my father and my uncle, suffering death as a result of these events. And that is why this campaign is so important in the work that the American Heart Association and the American Stroke Association does. Here's my uncle who actually served in the U.S. forces protecting our country. And unfortunately, once he was finished with his service, he did not live much longer as a result of cardiovascular disease.
My condolences to you, first off and foremost. I know you all are a praying family, and there is power in that, and you're doing so much in your work here at WISH TV and out in the community to raise awareness. Before we wrap up, Janel, if you don't mind telling us what we can do to put a stop to those numbers and turn this trend around.
Yes, so number one, you can give us some tax-deductible donations. The link will be in the article later today on wishtv.com. And also just make sure that we're eating whole food nutrition, that we're getting physically active, and that includes adults and children. We want children to have at least 60 minutes of play or structured physical activity daily. Make sure you're getting restful sleep. For children, it depends on their age, but for adults, we want 7 to 8 hours nightly. And patients tell me, oh, I don't need that much. But sleep issues can increase your risk for cardiovascular disease. My mother also has a history of sleep apnea, and her neurologist said it did contribute to her stroke. You want to make sure that you're keeping your stress controlled. Blood pressure is not higher than 120 on the top and 80 on the bottom. Quit that cigarette smoking, and not just cigarettes, but vaping as well. Make sure your blood sugar is controlled. As we said, diabetes is a risk factor, and that your cholesterol is maintained. Watch those saturated fats in your diet, and make sure that you're also watching those processed carbs, or like the chips, the crackers, desserts, sugary drinks, etc.
All things we can do. Janel, thank you so much for giving us all this helpful information. Best of luck to you on this campaign. And we have all that information plus more on our website, wishtv.com.
This is Medical Minutes, brought to you by Community Health Network.
Learn more and get more with WISH TV.
Online at wishtv.com, and when you follow WISH TV on Facebook, be sure to check out more great podcasts from the All Indiana Podcast Network now.
Now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.